Matt, you get 21 assists from Braden and Trey combined, 3 turnovers. Just that two-man game, and in general, the ball movement tonight on the offensive end.
Yeah, I thought they were, very good. I thought our whole team was unselfish and shared the basketball, but they obviously have a connection in our ball screen package, and just Braden's ability to get the ball in position for guys to score, or get the ball in position for Trey to score and Trey to make that pass there. But we were able to get a lot of stuff in transition because we were able to rebound, and that's what's always held us back. Is when we struggle to rebound, we can't get on transition and be able to steal some points. But I was pleased with our passing and our unselfishness.
Matt, we were talking to you yesterday kind of about the way that the taking care of the ball has fueled the defense. Just what ways did you see that tonight really kind of starting the avalanche?
Yeah, just everything looks better when you make shots. So like you look great when you make 19 threes. Other night against Rutgers, we didn't look great because we were 4 for 24. But in terms of decision making, both nights were really good. One night you made shots, one night you didn't. So a lot of times the untrained eye can't see that and understand that. But like if you watch basketball and you're like, hey man, those are good shots, they're just not going in, you got to stay with it, and that's what we try to do. We just try to be positive about it and keep making good decisions, keep taking those shots, because as you see tonight, they can go in. So I think that's where it starts for us, both offensively and defensively. It's just our execution, and then taking care of the ball and getting a quality shot. Obviously, we analytically scored it at a pretty high clip tonight, but then we're setting our defense when we take good shots and we score them. I mean, they got to take the ball out. You're going to do a better job of setting your defense, even though in the second half we proved that to be false a couple of times.
Matt, CJ with 23 points tonight, but he's been really good defensively. Can you assess his place since you put him into the starting lineup?
Yeah, he does a good job of, getting into the basketball more than anything. We really wanted to give, Bryce Williams that attention like we've given the other top scorers we've played here the last couple games. I think him and Miles do a really good job of kind of tag teaming that in terms of him subbing out, whether that's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then Miles coming in. Jakari gets in that mix a little bit, but mainly it's those two guys, guarding somebody like a Bryce Williams, with Ace Bailey and like Martinelli, like those guys are bigger, so that kind of lands more with Cam and Caleb on that front, even though we switch a lot and everybody guards him. But I just thought CJ was great. He had a couple timely threes in the first half, and then he really got going in the second half of making shots, and those guys finding him and got to his pull up a couple times, which he needs to do more of.
Hey Matt, I asked Fred about your team, and he said Braden is the best passer in the country. What's it like for you to have a guy like that? You've had Zach, but now you've got this terrific passer all the time. To have this guy pass it and get it to everybody.
Well, Zach was very unselfish, and Zach ended up being a really good passer also. So the people that have your most usage, when they're passers and they're unselfish, that's contagious. Just like it's contagious when somebody doesn't, right? We all know that. You get with somebody that's a ball hog, you get with somebody that won't share the basketball or whatever, people don't want to play with it. And so like a guy like Ross-Ade, even though it's in a different context, it's the same as Braden Smith because they're passers. So if you double team Zach, he willingly passes the basketball. Braden, sometimes, we got to get him to shoot the basketball more because that's what this team needs. But that's contagious on a good front. And, anytime that happens or we get into action and do different things, those guys know that they got to be ready for him, and because he's going to pass the basketball, and you got to be ready.
What was the process of settling on this starting lineup? I think it's game 4 of it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've delivered maybe on your expectations for them.
Yeah. More than anything, I think we have more than 5 starters. So like when you start a season, like you're trying to figure things out. Obviously Daniel, upset the apple cart a little bit by getting hurt, and that really helped open a window there, whether that was for Cam or whether that was for Caleb. Both of them have played more, since then, and they both have done really well. So that changed a little bit, but I just thought after the Toledo game, when you play Texas A&M and Auburn, you got to be able to, from a physical standpoint, be able to play against them, right? And I think Caleb helps us in that area. Where Cam got himself in that position is I didn't start Cam, but he kept finishing games. he kept being the one that was better for us, to finish some of those games. So we put him in the starting lineup. And then as it went on, we played some really physical teams, and I think Caleb matched us to those guys better. And that was kind of through the Toledo game. I just didn't think we were very tough, and I didn't think we were quick to the ball. And it's one of those things where you don't know if it's always going to work, but it just seems like, hey, we got to make a change here, and we got to be able to, to do that. And sometimes it's good for those guys now to start, but it's good for those other guys now to come off the bench. Like, it was great to see Miles have a really good game, and he's done some really good things for us. Cam's done some really good things for us. But yeah, it's what we really tried to orchestrate in the summer and the fall. We would keep Fletch, Braden, and Trey always on the main team, and then we would mix in the other two guys. And everybody always played better with Braden, right? And so it's like, yeah, then we go on the other team, and we didn't have enough playmaking on that team. And so you wouldn't look as good then. So it was, everybody needed to start with those three guys is what it really came down to, but you can only start two people. So it's more for our team because I think we have some guys like Jakari and like Miles and Cam, they could finish games too. Like, you know what I mean? Like they've played well enough here in the last 2 weeks to where if that's the way the game's going, there's a lot of people that would have finished today if the game was close, because I thought we had a lot of guys play well.
Can you just put into perspective Trey getting 7 assists with no turnovers, and what makes that possible for him with the Wayne Nebraska defense systematically?
Right. Yeah, so they're going to come up on their ball screens, and they've given us a lot of trouble in the past. And what opens things up is when you make shots. So if we don't make shots tonight, he wouldn't have as many opportunities. So we're trying to run different action and mix them and get those big guys moving, and then just to create a pocket so now Trey can get that ball in that sweet spot around the nail, elbows area. And now he's got to be able to play. The thing that makes him special in those areas is he can make that floater. If you can't make that floater, they can stay back. Now they can get you to dribble, then they can swarm you once you dribble. So he does a good job of being able to make that. Where he gets in trouble is if he takes that and he dribbles immediately without surveying the land. You got to catch it, you got to pause. Now, if you get that corner help on a one-man side, you got to hit that corner. If he stays home and they help up, you got your flip-up dunk. If they help up and now they crack and they go down, now you got the spray out on the two-man side. And then the point guard threw it, and if that guy comes in there, the point guard's got to get off the ball, and you can just throw it right back out. So you got to take all that in and digest all that in a breakdown drill where we move people around and do different stuff. So when we run our stuff, we don't try to tell them, okay, here's what they're going to do. Some people will get in regular ball screen defense where they're going to do the same thing all the time. But once you get pocket passes, how people cover that, it varies. It really varies. And so now you don't want them to go with the predetermined thought of, okay, this is going to happen and this is going to help. No, just catch it, don't dribble it, pause for a second. Trey's proven that he can get it, pause, and then just drive and just get a layup, which doesn't look like it can happen once the play starts, but once they spray out the shooters and you got guys out there knocking down shots, that's what opens things up more than anything. And Braden's ability to pass.
That's one thing.
Yeah, just in terms of turnovers forced, 3 of your highest totals on the year have come in the last 3 games. I guess, what have you seen change that's led to that?
Yeah, just trying to have more active hands, and then we've pressured more with our bigs. I think that has been something that we haven't done in the past because of our ultimate size where we can't, and we just want to anchor. And now those guys getting up on the basketball a little bit more, especially with everybody that plays 5 out and they bring people out and they open the paint. Now things are happening where they're getting some things, but yet our pressure is taking, they have to worry about the pressure instead of being able to pick us apart because we're back. When you're back, sometimes you'll take some alleys that people cut through where it won't be as clean, but once you get it, you're probably going to get something at that point. Where now, it opens up more because you pressured, but there's a lot of bigs out there that can't dribble and pass the basketball all in the same motion. So we have tried to do that and just tried to be more detailed and clean with our switches while seeing the basketball, making sure when they go ISO ball screens that we anchor our low man, when they get dribble down post ups, anchor our low man, and just really keep the ball out of the paint So the last 3-4 games, and I don't know what our total numbers are, but at halftime we've had really, really good numbers, Northwestern, Rutgers in this game, of the ball staying out of the paint. And when it does, we've had a lot of success. When the ball does get in the paint, we don't have as much success. And that holds true for everybody. If you watch a pickup game versus the NBA Finals versus this game here, like all those games, when the ball gets in the paint more times than not, good things are going to happen.
Thank you, guys.